Coco Chanel once said, "Some people think luxury is the opposite of poverty. It is not. It is the opposite of vulgarity." We live in a world of noise. A world where status is often confused with attention, and elegance is confused with expense. Many men spend a lifetime trying to signal that they have made it. They adopt habits they believe to be sophisticated. Yet, to the trained eye, these very habits are the loudest confession of insecurity. They do not signal wealth, they signal a desperate need to be seen. Today, we decode the 7 behaviors that masquerade as classy, but are, in truth, the hallmarks of the unrefined. The Billboard Effect. There is a prevailing myth in the modern world that to look wealthy, one must wear the names of wealthy brands. This is the Billboard Effect, and it is the most common error of the aspiring class. We have all seen the man who wears the t-shirt with the massive logo across the chest, or the belt with the golden buckle the size of a dinner plate. He believes he is signaling, "I can afford this." But let us look deeper. What is he really signaling? In the quiet circles of generational lineage, he is signaling, "I need this brand to give me value, because I do not have enough of my own." This is the psychology of borrowed status. You are hoping that the prestige of the fashion house will rub off on you. But consider the dynamic. When you plaster yourself in logos, you are not the owner of the garment. You are an employee of the corporation. You are a walking advertisement. You have paid them a premium for the privilege of marketing their company to strangers. True luxury is about the whisper, not the shout. It is defined by the quality of the material, the way a vicuna coat drapes, the specific patina on a leather shoe, or the hand-stitching of a bespoke lapel. These are details that are invisible to the masses, but instantly recognizable to people of taste. This is the concept of "if you know, you know." It creates a secret language between equals. If you must shout the name of the designer to prove the worth of the cloth was never good enough to begin with. The old money aesthetic is anonymous. It assumes that you do not need to prove the cost of your clothes to anyone. If the only reason you bought it was for the logo, you bought a costume, not a garment. Performative intellect. This is the habit of using a complex word when a simple one will do. It is the man who says utilize instead of use, communicate instead of speak, or behove instead of benefit. He peppers his conversation with academic jargon or references philosophers he has only read on Wikipedia, believing it makes him sound educated and high status. But in reality, this signals the distinct anxiety of the middle class, the imposter syndrome. It is a defense mechanism. It screams, "Please take me seriously." If you observe the aristocracy, or the truly accomplished, the CEOs, the generational leaders, their language is often shockingly simple. They are direct. They are concise. They have nothing to prove. They know they are intelligent, so they do not need to perform an IQ test for you over dinner. There is a concept in communication called the burden of understanding. The lower class habit is to place the burden on the listener, forcing them to decode your complex sentences. The upper class habit is to take the burden on yourself, making your ideas crystal clear. When you overcomplicate your speech, you create a barrier. You are not trying to connect with the listener, you are trying to impress them. And the moment you try to impress, you have subconsciously admitted that you believe they are above you. Speak clearly. It is the ultimate sign of confidence. The etiquette police. Manners are the currency of civilization. But there is a distinct difference between having manners and policing them. This is the person who notices and corrects other people's social mistakes. They are the ones who visibly wince if you hold your wine glass by the bowl. They are the ones who make a comment if you use the wrong knife for the butter. They believe this vigilance shows they know the rules. But in truth, it shows they have only recently learned them. They are guarding the gate because they are terrified of being locked out. They view etiquette as a test that one must pass or fail. True etiquette, the kind passed down through generations, has one goal and one goal only: to make those around you feel comfortable. It is not a weapon, it is a shield for others. There is a famous story of Queen Victoria. A foreign guest, unaware of the custom, drank from the finger bowl, the water meant for washing hands. The court gasped. But without missing a beat, the Queen picked up her own finger bowl and drank from it too. She broke the rule to save her guest from shame. That is the essence of Lineage. If a guest spills wine, the true gentleman ignores it. If a guest uses the wrong fork, the host follows suit. The height of rudeness is pointing out the rudeness of others. To embarrass someone in public is the most lower-class behavior of all. Aggressive generosity. Generosity is a virtue, but the performance of generosity is a vice. We have all witnessed the battle of the bill. The check arrives, voices are raised, and there is a physical struggle over who gets to pay. No, I insist. Put that away. You paid last time. You might think this signals benevolence, friendship, and wealth. But to the observer, it signals that money is a novelty to you. It turns a social interaction into a transaction. In the upper echelons, money is a tool, not a topic of conversation. It is assumed, not announced. Fighting for the bill is a dominance display. It disrupts the dining room and draws attention to the table. It says, "Look at me, I have the power to pay for you." It makes the guest feel indebted, rather than welcomed. The classy way to pay is invisible. It is the silent execution. You arrange it with the maître d' before you sit down. You hand over your card upon arrival. The bill simply never appears at the table. If you wish to be generous, do it in silence. If the table knows you paid, you have bought their attention, not their dinner. True generosity expects no applause. The curated life. We live in the age of documentation. But there is a massive difference between capturing a memory and curating an image. This brings us to point 5, the curated life. The habit of photographing every luxury experience. The view from the business class seat. The logo on the steering wheel. The bottle of wine. When you broadcast these moments, you are telling the world, "This is rare for me. This is an event. Look at what I have achieved." You are seeking validation from strangers to confirm that you are having a good time. But consider the psychology of the truly wealthy. For the lineage we speak of, these luxuries are merely the furniture of life. They are the backdrop, not the subject. They do not photograph the hotel room because they have been in 1,000 hotel rooms. They do not photograph the first-class ticket because that is simply how they travel. Instead, they photograph their friends. They photograph the landscape. They capture the emotion of the moment, not the price tag of the moment. Privacy is the ultimate luxury in a digital age. The more you broadcast your status, the more you dilute it. Mystery creates allure. Oversharing creates fatigue. Stop trying to prove your life is beautiful to strangers on the internet. Leave it. Do not post it. The Mannequin Effect. Perfection is often the enemy of style. The new money habit is an obsession with absolute flawlessness. Every hair in place. The tie knot geometrically perfect. The shoes brand new and uncreased. You look like you have spent 3 hours in front of the mirror. You look stiff. You look like you are wearing a costume. This rigidity signals fear. It signals that you are terrified of making a mistake. You are using your clothes as a uniform to protect you from judgment. But the Italians have a word for the antidote: sprezzatura. It is the art of studied carelessness. It is the ability to do something difficult while making it look easy. The master of style looks like he threw his clothes on without thinking. He looks comfortable. He is not afraid to wear a watch with scratches, or a jacket that has softened with age, or suede shoes that have seen the rain. This ease suggests that elegance is his natural state, not a costume he put on for the day. He wears the clothes. The clothes do not wear him. Do not look like a mannequin. A little imperfection is the soul of style. The hustle trap. It has become fashionable to be busy. To talk about how little sleep you get, how hard you are grinding, how stressed you are. You wear your burnout like a badge of honor. You answer emails at dinner to show how important you are. But let us look at history. Historically, status was defined not by how much you labored, but by how much leisure you could command. The word school comes from the Greek word skol, which means leisure. Because only those with leisure had the time to learn. This does not mean the elite do not work hard. They often carry immense responsibility, but they do not perform their suffering for others. The old money approach to work is stoic. You build your empire in silence. You do not complain about the hours. You do not brag about the stress. You are productive, but you are not frantic. When you brag about being busy, you are admitting that you are a slave to your schedule. You are admitting that you have lost control of your time. The true flex is not "I am so busy I can't breathe." The true flex is having the systems, the team, and the discipline to handle a massive workload while remaining perfectly calm. Make it look easy. The masquerade of the modern world convinces us that to be more, we must add more. But true refinement, the kind that survives generations, is a process of elimination. It is the courage to strip away the costumes and the performances until only the essential remains. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I ask that you like this video to help others find their way out of the noise. And do not forget to subscribe and stay tuned, for we have only just begun to decode the invisible rules of society. Remember, be the standard, not the echo.